Hello everybody and welcome to Astro Pillars Astrology. My name's Samuel Dudgeon, Doctor of Chinese Medicine and an astrologer. And we're going to run through the new moon in Pisces coming up this week. And I'll briefly run through the 12 signs as well and just talk a little bit about the dynamics going on with this. And thanks to all the new subscribers, I appreciate it. And hopefully, I've had quite a few comments from my Year of the Horse, people emailing me. The Yang Fire Horse Year, the Pure Fire Pillar. I did a live on that a while ago. And we are actually, right now, in particular, it's talking about Chinese astrology, we are in the month of the Yin Metal Rabbit. And it's interesting, we have a Pisces New Moon, which is quite sensitive. And obviously new moons are about, a lot of people are talking about this, about planting seeds, setting goals, new intentions for the next 6 months, right? So for those who want to look at, who know their charts, really pay attention to the cusp where Pisces is, because this is where you're going to primarily be setting your intentions for this new moon. So generally moons in Pisces react sensitively, compassionately, empathetically, evasively, vulnerably, and idealistically. So there's plenty of an imaginative and intuitive downloads that can occur at this time, right? So open up the floodgates, the intuitive faculties, connect to the ancestral mind, because we're dealing with the energies of Pisces. So I would encourage everyone, when they're ritually setting their new intentions, to actively use their imagination, sensitivity, and intuitive understandings. It's really important. Connect to the ancestral mind, right? Become more intuitive when it comes to really creating your path, right, for the next 6 months, whatever area Pisces falls into your planetary astrology chart. But the reason I mentioned the Yin Metal Rabbit month, which I think is significant, because the Yin Metal, obviously, I'm in the southern hemisphere, so we're about to go into autumn, but obviously in the northern hemisphere, which where all astrology is really based from, is going to go into spring. And obviously the rabbit is the peak of spring, so people are about to click over into that up in the northern hemisphere. But the Yin Metal Rabbit month is an interesting one, and one to consider when it falls into the new moon in Pisces, because obviously this is one of the days, or this is one of the stems and branches, sorry, that's what I'm trying to say. Yin Metal Rabbit is one of the days where people never give up, right? There's 2 of these days out of 60. One of them is the Yin Metal Rabbit. And I find it interesting that this falls onto this new moon in Pisces coming up, because whatever it is with your new intentions you want to set, then just make sure you don't give up on it. That's what I'm trying to say in my long-winded answer there. And another cool thing about this new moon is I always pay attention to the decans, and because I have a bit of a pet love for the tarot, right? And I always look at which decan the moons are going to fall in, connected to the tarot cards, because we've got to remember, right, the tarot is the feminine and astrology is the masculine, and they blend together quite well. So this new moon falls into the 3rd decan of Pisces, which is connected to the 10 of Cups, right? And I think a lot of people know the 10 of Cups card, and if you don't, just go and check it out on YouTube, because or the internet, you'll find it. It's quite a beautiful card, and quite a happy card. But this card is connected to the frequency of Mars in Pisces. And it's interesting to note that Mars is actually in Pisces right now. But the key word for this card is perfected success. So it connects to the number 10. And 10 in numerology, or in the tarot, is more connected to persistence. And this card is definitely connected to creativity, imagination, and intuition, right? And it's also there's a lot of compassion and sympathy with this card. And Mars is in water, right? So it's connected to Mars in Pisces. And Mars tends not to like to be in water. It's not so direct. But on the flip side of that, it's very compassionate and sympathetic, right? For people who do have Mars in water signs, this is how it kind of plays out. But in a way, Mars doesn't kind of really like to be in it because it can't really access the fiery energy it needs to really initiate and move things and connect to your libido, to get the will and the drive to create, so to speak. But I think I think the negative side of Mars in this side can be pretty self-indulgent, oversensitive, passive-aggressive, and impractical, right? Because there's an oversensitivity when Mars becomes into water, and it can react, but the reactions are very delayed compared to what it's like when Mars is in the sign of Aries. So anyway, I think the persistency of the number 10s, right, has the potential, right, to really be direct and really construct what it is you need to create. So I think always, right, when Mars is in water, self-discipline is needed, particularly because the emotions when Mars is in Pisces can be highly charged, they can be dynamic, and they're going to need to come under control. And the discipline of the martial stuff is really, really important at this time. So just bear this in mind if you're feeling a little bit out of sorts, right, when it comes to this, card, so to speak. So I would encourage everyone to really, 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 master their emotional body at this point of time, particularly if you're feeling overwhelmed by it. And because new moons, you can set intentions to master this at this time, right? Okay, so with this new moon, it's in the sign of Pisces, and so we need to look at where Jupiter's placed in our chart, as Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces. So Jupiter's been retrograde for quite a period of time now. It's actually gone direct. Mercury's retrograde during this new moon and goes direct a few days after it. And then, of course, Uranus is sextile to this new moon, and Saturn and Neptune are in conjunction with this new moon. So these are the things we've got to pay attention to. But obviously, Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces. So we're going to pay attention to where that falls in our charts. So I'll go through the 12 rising signs. This is based on my Substack article, so I'll just read a few of these out, and we'll read all of them out. And all the 12 rising signs, right? We'll start off with Aries, and Aries will have this new moon in the 12th house, which is the house of rest, spiritual pursuits, sleep, and the subconscious healing. It's Mars is currently the Lord of an Aries rising chart, so we've got to pay attention to the position of Mars where it is, which is in the 12th house. And so wherever the Lord of the chart is in is where you're currently at, right? So when Mars is in the 12th, as well as the new moon, you may feel tired at this time. I want to set new intentions around well-deserved rest and retreat, as you'll be feeling it at this time. Planet Jupiter, which rules this new moon, is in trine, aspecting your Mars from the 4th house. So this can play out as the freedom fighter aspect. So wherever Mars is in our chart is where we battle, and the battleground can be the unconscious during this transit, right? So Jupiter can give peace to the psyche at this time. Saturn and Neptune in conjunction to this new moon can give us structure and discipline when it comes to our hidden emotions at this time. This is also a good time to set intentions around using active imagination to process our psyche over the next 6 months. Process issues we've got, underlying psychological issues as well. And Uranus sextiling this new moon in the 12th can give us intuitive breakthroughs and flashes of insight of ideas. So I would say it is a very good time to pay attention to your dreams. I've noticed a lot when Uranus aspects the 12th house or is transiting that 12th house, that some really amazing flashes of insights can come through the psyche. So it can be a very fruitful time for birthing new ideas that really come through the ancestral minds. So pay attention to that, Aries rising. Now, Taurus will be having this new moon in the 11th house, Taurus rising. So the house of friendship, communities, and long-term dreams, wish fulfillments. So this is a good time to set new intentions around social networking, connecting with groups of like-minded people. And so this is the house of wish fulfillment and dreams. So whatever they are, plan them now. The Uranus sextile from the first can bring exciting and new changes over the next 6 months through networking, collaboration with other people. So as Uranus rules the 10th, which it does because you'll have an Aquarian midheaven, there can be really good exciting changes that can come, or exciting opportunities with business or career or some kind of public status and recognition that you can receive that can really come out at this time. So Jupiter is square your chart rule of Venus, which is currently in the 12th house. So this can create a challenging, when Venus is in the 12th, which is your chart ruler, you can really want to spend a little bit of alone time for the Taurus rising. But and that's okay, because you really want to pay attention to that. So so when Jupiter is squaring this, there can be kind of alone time. You want to get out there, but then of course you want to spend time on your own as well. But I would just say for this Taurus rising, then really this can be a very good, exciting opportunity for social network and creating new networks and collaborations, which can really give birth to some really good business ideas and opportunities. So we've got Gemini. We'll be having this new moon in the 10th house of career status and how you perceived out into the public. So there can be changes going on in the workplace as well for the Gemini, because Mercury is retrograde, so you may have to revisit certain issues that happened at work, or maybe renegotiate, go over why you're working maybe you're contemplating on changing or going over repeated patterns at work. So the Jupiter trine from the 2nd house can bring financial security and a feeling of overall security when it comes to self-esteem and finances, which is actually quite a good thing. It's definitely good to set intentions when it comes to these areas if you feel you've been neglecting them. Jupiter in the 2nd trine Mars from the 10th can give good momentum with work and fire up the competitive drive, which is a good thing. Uranus is sextiling this from the 12th house, which can give you sudden, intuitive, inspiring ideas to do with something you've been working on behind the scenes, which have potential to come out actually in the limelight over the next 6 months, right? So I'd set new intentions around this. Excuse me. And like anything that comes from the 12th house, actually, it's good to keep this as the house of secrets. So if you've had good ideas and any good intuitive ideas, then sit on them for a little bit. Don't reveal them at this moment, because anything that comes from the 12th house, it's good to keep them secret until they're ready to be revealed. Because you don't want these ideas, if they're really original, inventive, to be stolen. Now we've got Cancer. We'll be having this new moon in the 9th house. This house that deals with publishing, travel, higher education, and philosophy. The moon is the lord of your chart, so it's very important to pay attention to its tracks and movements, and of course be mindful always of lunar eclipses, because these are going to really affect you guys. And we just had that one in Virgo, so if you guys didn't check out, I did a video on that. And actually, by the way, I apologize. I didn't get around to doing those 12 signs that I said to do. The eclipse rattled me a little bit, and I had a bit of stuff to deal with. So anyway, this can be a favorable time to set intentions around getting some work published, going back to school, or look further into education that can change your philosophy of the world. So Uranus trine the moon from the 11th to the 9th can bring sudden breakthroughs with your mind and thinking patterns. and possibly having a sudden interest in different schools of thought, right? It can also bring sudden connections to new groups and friends from the 11th house. And you can certainly be attracted to groups that really don't fit to the normal status quo. So this is a good new moon with Jupiter in the first house aspecting the ninth to really set intentions around having, Jupiter's about faith, the first house is about you, so having really faith and confidence in yourself. Mercury retrograde is in your ninth house, so you may, which can kind of stimulate to travel or want to go back to a certain place that you've been to before, but I would just probably not make travel plans till that retrograde passes. And we've got Leo will be having this new moon in the 8th house. This is a deep one for Leo because this is a house of intimacy, privacy, hidden knowledge, shared resources, taxes, deaths, relationships that are bound by karma too, and wills. So when the new moon is in the 8th, it is a good time to set intentions on psychological shedding, right? Clearing. It's a clearing phase or potential clearing phase because you can set intentions around certain issues you've had and shed and release them over the next 6 months. So Jupiter is trine Mars in this house, which can indicate huge emotional release from behind the scenes because Jupiter is actually in the 12th house. In your 12th house transiting at the moment in Cancer. So that can be the hidden helper, right? Jupiter, they can say in this house is considered the guardian angel that can help you out. That'll all come down to sect, of course, right? Which they talk about in Hellenistic astrology, whether Jupiter works favorably or unfavorably for you at the moment. But either way, it's in the sign of Cancer, which is helpful because Jupiter's exalted in that sign. So there can be deep healing inner work going on at this time, especially around themes of intimacy or joint financial issues. The Mercury retrograde in the 8th in conjunction can indicate karmic conversations that need to happen around emotional intimacy issues. So Uranus in the 10th house can sextile the 8th house, can suggest sudden breakthroughs with shedding shedding aspects of your psyche that can offer you opportunities to do with your career. So what I'd say from that is whatever it is you're actually shedding within your own psyche can create more abundant opportunities when it comes to work. So we'll move on to Virgo. Virgo will be having this new moon in the 7th house, the house of relationships, marriage, clients, and open enemies. And Jupiter rules the 7th house as it's currently transiting your 11th, bringing opportunities for relationships through meeting new groups of people. So if single, it's a pretty good time to set intentions around meeting someone, right? Because you can manifest someone new into your life. If you have someone, then, it can be a joyous time in your relationship. Mercury is actually retrograde in this house, which can bring contacts back from the past, maybe possibly even previous partners, because it's in kind of conjunction with the North Node. So, yeah, there can be kind of more faded communications coming in. This can also indicate significant people coming into your life as well. And that can be colleagues, people you connect with or work with. So Uranus is sextile the 9th from the 7th, which can bring sudden changes when it comes, exciting changes when it comes to your relationships. Uranus can, when stimulated, if it's connecting to the new moon in the 7th house, can bring some exciting times, which is all good. We all need those, right? Libra will be having this new moon in the 7th house. Not the 7th house, sorry. Libra will be having this new moon, in the 6th house. The house of daily routines, pets, co-workers, acts of service, and health. Right? This new moon is a good time to set intentions around disciplining the self, especially when the moon is in this house, right? The moon's about our eating habits. really, because the moon's how we absorb things, how we nourish our bodies, right? And when it's in conjunction to Saturn in the new moon, particularly in the 6th house, then you kind of really want to discipline yourself when it comes to dietary intake. So you guys can set new intentions around this if this is what you guys are. I think it's a good time when this is these planets are moving in this house. So with Jupiter's in your 10th house, trine Mars in the 6th. It can be a busy time, can stimulate a busy time in the work schedule, actually, particularly with Mars in the 6th. Mars in the 6th, actually, people can really eat on the run as well. So, and this can really affect the digestive faculties as well. So you want to pay more attention to that. It can also be a time for career expansion and opportunities now, especially that as Jupiter's gone direct in your 10th house. And Uranus sextile the moon from the 8th can bring unexpected opportunities with shared resources in relation to your work opportunities as well. So there's a lot of action going on between the 10th and the 6th house, which are active houses when it comes to service and work. So Scorpio will be having this new moon in the 5th house, the house of joy, self-expression, creativity, gambling, risk-taking, and romance. So Jupiter's gone direct in your 9th, trine Mars in the 5th. Mars is the lord of your chart. It's steering the ship of your destiny, so you want to pay attention to where it is, and Mars is in the 5th. So you may set intentions around traveling with your partner or with children under this new moon, right? Because the 5th house rules children, lord of your chart's in there. You guys might be having a few battles with the children, particularly when Mars is in the 5th, right? Or children when it's transiting there, can become a little bit fiery, a little bit lash out, right? But the Mars-Jupiter trine can balance that out in a harmonious way. The Mars-Jupiter trine can also motivate you to create and produce a creative hobby or a hobby you've had in mind. The planet Uranus sextiling your new moon from the 7th can give sudden inspiration for creative idea and self-expression. It can also bring in sudden romantic interests if you're single. If you're in a relationship, you may have sudden offbeat ideas and do things radically different that can inspire your relationship, right? Especially when Uranus comes in and sextiles that. This can also be a really fertile time for you when it comes to creative ideas and manifesting what it is you want, particularly with the 5th house. The 5th house with new moon is a nice one to have a new moon in the 5th house. So we'll move on to Sagittarius, which will be having this new moon in the 4th house. So new beginnings when it comes to family, emotional roots, and the physical home. The moon really generally loves being in the 4th house. Jupiter is in the 8th, trine Mars from the 4th. So as Jupiter has gone direct, there may be better financial circumstances with the family unit at this time. If it's not good, it's good to set intentions around these areas, right? Particularly when it comes to the family, right? The positive flow between Jupiter and Mars can indicate good teamwork within the family unit to achieve goals within the family unit and relatives respectively, right? So there can be a strong sense of emotional security under this new moon with all the planets placed in this house, with the Piscean energy indicating compassion and empathy within the family unit. The planet Uranus trine the moon from the 6th can indicate having creative solutions with your daily work routines that enables you to spend more time at home. When Uranus is in the 6th house, you want to break away from that 9 to 5 freedom connection. Or if you guys are doing the 9 to 5 daily grind, it's really difficult to fall into those lockstep routines when Uranus particularly transits the 6th house. And so I think this new moon coming in and Uranus sextiling that new moon, if you are falling into that kind of category, then it's good to set intentions to really want to create space in the workplace so you can actually spend more time at home. And I think that's the nutshell of what the Sagittarius is going through at the moment. So Capricorn will be having this new moon in the 3rd house, the house of learning, siblings, neighbors. It's writing, it's connected to short distance travel, connects to the lower part of the mind. It's a very active area for using their mind and doing, short distance travel, short courses, all that kind of thing. So Jupiter is currently transiting his 7th house, in the house of relationships, and has gone direct in that house. So Jupiter is trying the planet Mars from the 7th, creating better harmonious flow between siblings and neighbors. Because Mars in the 3rd can make the tongue a little fiery too. It can fire off a little bit and unleash and think, oh, Jesus, should I have said that or shouldn't I? Anyway, the Jupiter trine can balance that out. The planet Uranus sextiling a new moon from the 3rd can stimulate exciting communication, especially unconventional subjects, and give birth to new creative ideas under this new moon. Mercury retrograde currently in this house can readdress issues to do with siblings and possibly neighbors, especially if you've been evading and avoiding things, which Pisces can do, right? And got to remember, Mercury's in fall in Pisces as well. So sometimes we just want to get back to things, put things on the back burner. But the retrograde will say, oh, I need to address this now. But anyway, I think this new moon in the 3rd house can be a good time for setting new intentions around writing a blog, podcast, website, this kind of thing, communicating, or running. If you really wanted to do a short course at this time, then now's a good time to set intentions around this. So moving on to Aquarius, we'll be having this new moon in the 2nd house, the house connected to security, self-esteem, and finances. So this is a great new moon for those who want to set intentions around money manifestation. Jupiter is trying Mars from the 6th to the 2nd, indicating greater freedom within the workspace and routines. This freedom can lead to more motivation to achieve your financial goals, giving you space to plan how to achieve this financial freedom. So Uranus sextile the new moon may give you some financial freedom, but also some fluctuations as well. Sometimes the moon going through this, the moon moves kind of quick, right? But Uranus aspecting can be a lot of fluctuations when it comes to finance. But Mars in the 2nd may lead to unforeseen expenses with money as well, because you can tend to burn through it very quickly. But all I'd say for the Aquarius rising is that Saturn rules your chart too. So Saturn will be going through the 2nd house at this time as well. So it could even be the 3rd because it's late degrees, but either way, you would have had Saturn transiting through there, and you'll find you really need to budget or watch the purse strings at that time. But all I'd say for the Aquarius rising is if your self-esteem needs leveling up at this time, it's a really good time to set intentions to grow and evolve at this time. So Pisces will be having this new moon in the 1st house. So this, the 1st house is about you, right? It's about our immediate environment. It's about our bodies, and it's kind of like a personal reset. So anything you intend to change about yourself now is perfect for setting these intentions around it. So if you want to change an image of how you look or something, your physical body, your physical appearance, now it's a good time to do it because the 1st house is about the physical. Jupiter, which is Lord of your chart, is currently transiting the 5th house. So dating, risk-taking, the house of dating, risk-taking, and creativity. Children, all these 5th house kind of themes. Jupiter in the 5th can give you clues how you can reinvent yourself under this new moon in a creative way, right? So for those planning a family, pregnancy is possible actually at this time. Uranus sextile the moon from the 3rd can give you alternative ways of thinking about your personal self-image at this time. In other words, you'll be thinking outside the box when it comes to how you present yourself to the world. And I would just say too, Mars is in the 1st house as well, ruling in the 9th house, trine Jupiter in the 5th, which can really motivate you to study and learn and want to travel at this time. And I'd say a lot of the Piscean types at this time will really be contemplating studying or changing a way of their thinking in some way, which will also personally affect how they physically look and feel. So that is my take on this Piscean new moon. And we will get back with more astro action as soon as possible. I've got a few different themes coming up, a few different things I want to talk about in regards to health dynamics. And I'm going to be doing some up and coming stuff on the planet Venus, which I really want to get into, interestingly enough, because what triggered me to do this is Friday the 13th happens quite a few times this year. So I really want to talk about that. And that is interesting. So thanks for listening, guys. We'll be in touch soon.